Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Fireside Chat. My name is Jason Bahamundi. I am one of the owners of Run Try Bike magazine. Today, we will be talking to Yvonne Spencer, who is the founder of Fast Chix. Yvonne will be celebrating her 28th year in active duty service in the Air Force tomorrow, actually. So we're pretty excited to have her on board here. We've interviewed Yvonne in the past for our magazine that we had produced back in July of August of last year. So we're pretty excited to have her on board. One of the things that we'll be discussing today is Yvonne and her starting of Fast Chix, as well as, the recent trip that the group members for Fast Chix took out to Costa Rica. We'll discuss where her club will be racing this year, as well as the inclusion of the tri community and creative things being done by endurance sports that are bringing people into the field. And perfect timing, excuse me. Welcome, Colonel Yvonne Spencer of Fast Chix, to our episode 8, I believe, maybe 9 of our Fireside Chats.
No, 8. You're right. You're right. So many guests.
And on the screen as well is Om Gandhi, folks, who is our social media manager for Run Try Bike. Om will be moderating this conversation as well. On the bottom right-hand side of your screen, there's a little question mark. So if you have a question for Yvonne as we're going through the conversation, just click the little question mark, and we'll make sure that we get that question answered for you. So without further ado, welcome to Yvonne Spencer, and thank you for joining us on our Tuesday Fireside Chats, Yvonne.
I am very pleased to be here with you all. I am looking forward to this opportunity to chat. I love to chat. I love to chat about my Fast Chix, and the great things we're doing in this community. So yeah, thank you for allowing me to do this on this particular platform, and definitely appreciate what you and your magazine have done to put more of us on the forefront, on the cover, if you will. Of the there we go, leading the way, changing the face of the game. So I appreciate your efforts in that.
Well, I appreciate that. And before you joined us, I let everybody know that tomorrow you'll be celebrating your 28-year anniversary of active duty in the Air Force. So thank you very much from the country to you for your service. We appreciate it.
It's been my honor. It's been my honor to serve.
Great. So you said you love to talk about Fast Chix. So here's an opportunity. Tell us about Fast Chix, who it is, why you started it, you know, all of the good information that we need to know about Fast Chix.
Well, the first thing is the name might be, you know, shy you away from it a little bit, but really Fast Chix, it's a mindset and it's not a pace. And being fast is all about trying and building your way to be better tomorrow than you are today. And I wanted to create a community for women, minority women, women that didn't feel like they had a home or a village or a voice, to be a part of it and to support each other in being better, sharing our secrets, our best practices, our ups and our downs. And that's where Fast Chix came into play, is just creating this village and this community of support. And we started in January of 2015. It was a sprout off from the Black Triathletes Association, which is another huge community that I'm sure you all are familiar with. And we grew from there. We started with probably a little less than 100, you know, and as word got out, they started seeing more of us in races. They started feeling our energy and enthusiasm. We've grown to over 1,200 Facebook members as it stands right now, and many of them are very active in their communities and very active on our pages. So that's it. That's Fast Chix in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think you're shortchanging it a little bit. So we talked. So this magazine actually came out a year ago, July, August, which means we spoke in about May of a year ago. And at the time, your membership was about 800. So in about 12 months, you've basically increased by 50%, which is utterly amazing. And it talks to me, it tells me the story of who you are and who the group is, that you're welcoming 400 members in a year to a sport that, for the most part, let's not kid ourselves, we don't get to see people that look like us, brown skin, black skin, and to be able to grow by that percentage is just utterly amazing. How do you, I don't want to use the word recruit, but how do you get people to find out who you are and what you're about? Is it showing up at races with your kits? What else is there?
We do. We show up in force, in mass, with our kits, and we not only race, but we invite others in, again, with just the spirit that we bring and our excitement about the sport. We begin all of our races together with a prayer, and anyone is welcome to enter in. You know, we just want everyone to be comfortable in their race, have a great race happy, look for the camera, smile, thank a volunteer. So we bring everyone together there, and throughout the course, whether we're racing or we are volunteering, we are out there and we're smiling at folks, we're cheering people on, people that we don't know might look like they're struggling. And especially when we do the Rev 3 races, because Rev 3, they stay till the end. Well, Fast Chix stay to the end, and we make sure that someone is there for whoever is coming across that finish line at the last moment. And so I think it's our spirit and our enthusiasm that people see along the course, and they want to be a part of it, or they desire to be a part of it, or at least they enjoy being around it. Let's go with that. Last year, when we did our annual meetup, which was at Rev 3 Williamsburg, and these are stats that the race director, Eric Opdyke, gave me, but there were 140 women, and of the 140, 119 were associated with Fast Chix.
Wow.
And we were volunteering. We were in the kayaks. We were giving out medals. We were giving out water. We were at the aid stations. We were in all the places. And then we had the video of dancing into the water, whereas most people are nervous, yes, and they're sweating and they're anxious. And our song played, Stu played our song, and we danced our way in the water. And I remember someone's comment, they said, they just kept coming. They just kept coming and coming. It seemed like we were there in groves, but and that particular video got, well, the last I checked, it was over 1 million hits, contacts, shares, you name it. And so that also boosted the popularity of the Fast Chix Nation, if you will. And so that's how we've grown it. That's how we recruit. It's mainly through our actions and our attitudes.
So for those of you who have not seen the video, after you get off this call, it's on the Fast Chix Instagram account. And if you don't start bumping and dancing when you see it, there's something wrong with you. Because I know when I watched it, I was into it myself. And as a person who has anxiety when it comes to the swim, I was like, if I had that, I might be okay when it comes to getting in the water.
Exactly. Well, you should have seen there were people around us, and they were just looking, and they weren't sure if they were allowed to dance with us, but they were kind of okay, yeah, we can do this. And there's probably people out there that we annoyed the hell out of them. And that's okay. That's okay. So for those, but it was a lot of fun.
Don't think she's telling the truth. Like, here's Rev 3, there's Yvonne, and you can see all the ladies smiling. This was a picture in that July, August, and I have yet to see pictures from any event that your group is participating in where the ladies aren't smiling. And it doesn't come across as disingenuous. And I also know this because we've had a couple of your members submit how it all started features. We recently put up Patrice Culberson's, and the pictures that they send, they're all just so happy and smiling. And again, I got to give kudos to you because that's got to come from the top. And so what keeps you motivated to keep smiling and keep inspiring people? Because it's not easy to stay on that level.
It is not. It's not. And so I have my moments. But, I get these 5:30 in the morning, I get these notifications, and there are people on the page that have already finished their workout or they finished their walk, or they've done so much, and you can't help but feel obligated to get up and do something, to get up and move, to go ahead and just knock out that training session that you don't want to do, but you got to do it because everybody else is out there doing it. And I think that's a huge part of my motivation. I mean, I'm internally driven, but having the external piece where these people, they may not even know it, but they are my accountability partners. They're keeping me accountable to what I said I was going to do. If I post that, hey, and a lot of people are like this, if they post that I want to do X, Y, Z, well, now you've just given us permission to check in with you in a couple of weeks because you had said you were going to do X, Y, Z, and we haven't seen a post. So it's not really bullying per se, but it is, hey, remember when you were excited about this? We got your back. We're supporting you. Where are you now with it? And it's that little burst that shoots in and gets you up and gets you moving forward.
Accountability partners are so important. So it's great that you guys have that structure. And for beginners, for those of you who are just getting started and are watching this, understand that having an accountability partner really just gets you going when you don't want to. Because I don't care if you look at all the posts on social media and everybody's happy, right? And everything is great.
Yeah, no.
The reality is when that alarm goes off at 4 a.m., you're like, oh my God, I'm going to throw this thing out the window. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm not a morning person. You would think that I am because I am in the military, but I do things in the morning. That doesn't mean I enjoy them or I'm doing them with a smile. I'm getting it done. I'm getting it done. So having those accountability partners is key. And it's really just showing up.
Yeah.
Showing up for them, and you end up showing up for yourself.
The idea, right, when you see people talk about just showing up and it's like, just give the first mile a try or the first 50 meters a try, and you never know what may come of it. And if you still don't want to do it, that's okay too. Get out of the water, go back to the car, have a cup of coffee, and that's fine. So you mentioned something that you're not a morning person. So which of the 3 sports, when the alarm goes off, or let's include strength training, when the alarm goes off, you're like, oh my goodness, I am not interested in this at all?
That's too easy. The swim. I have to set 3 alarms to get up for the swim. But I do have accountability partners. And when I'm missing from a swim, we take a group picture afterwards.
Oh.
And they have, well, I won't say they, there's one individual, my accountability, my sis, and she has photoshopped my picture in the picture that I'm not in. And she posted it for all to see. And yeah, so you have to laugh at it. I laugh at it. She thinks she's funny, but it's one of those things that, yeah, Yvonne, get up. We missed you. You should be here. You said you were going to do it. Now be in the picture next time, or I'm going to Photoshop you again. Yeah. So that photo will never not be funny.
The crazy thing, even in a heated pool, the water still feels cold at 5 a.m. It just doesn't matter. It always does. So for those of you who are joining us, my name is Jason Bahamundi. I'm one of the owners of Run, Try, Bike magazine. Today we're talking with Yvonne Spencer of Fast Chix. We're also on the video you see here is Om Gandhi, who is our social media manager. If you have a question for Yvonne, just tap the little question mark in the bottom right-hand corner, type it in there, and we'll make sure that we get it answered for you. 2 quick things, since we're talking about the swim. Blue 70, if you use code RTB15 on their site, get 15% off of goggles and accessories. Also, since we're talking about waking up early morning and training, Amy Woods Fitness also offers a 50% discount off of your first month of her subscription, and that code is RunTryBike50. So make sure you use them both. So Yvonne, we talked about a year ago, and then we talked a few weeks ago about having you on this Fireside Chat. And one of the topics we talked about was the Fast Chix group to Costa Rica. So tell us more about that. When did you go? How many athletes did you have? Why was it important to have a trip to Costa Rica?
Well, I'll be honest, I didn't realize the importance until I got there. And last year when Eric approached me about doing a training camp in Paradise, and he said Costa Rica. And he had me at Costa Rica. I was like, okay, let's do it. It just sounded like the right thing. We're in paradise. We're training. I mean, what could go wrong? And so, he put it together. He got his team, and he's starting these camps. But we were his guinea pigs, if you will. And I figured if you can wrangle, handle, make happy 18 Type A African American women, brother, you are onto something. And so we did it. There were 18 of us, different spectrums of the sport, from the beginner, never done an open water swim, to have done multiple Ironman, to I'm getting back my triathlon game, and I want to do this training camp. And we brought them all together, and I was concerned about having that wide spectrum of experience, those wide levels. And it ended up being the perfect mix, because those that were newer were able to learn from, glean from the experiences of those that have been in the game for a little while. And they were able to ask questions, and those that have been in the game were able to share the stories of, don't compare yourself to others. Like, everyone started somewhere. Everyone's had a DNA. I won't say everyone. Most have had some type of challenge that is going on, and you see the top of the iceberg. You see all the medals, and you see the accolades and the podiums. But it's the work that we're doing at this camp. It's that mental piece that is really going to take you to that next level. And the experience was, it was just tremendous. We were spoiled before we even got there. There were, Eric called each woman individually to find out what they wanted from the camp. And I told him, I just want the beverages on the beach and to lay out. And, if we did some training, that's great too, because it is a training camp. So he didn't pay me any attention. But the others, there were things that they wanted to get out of it. And he had the plan for us to do an open water swim. We had the cycling sessions. We had the run sessions. We had aid stations when we got there that were fresh cut pineapple and watermelon and Gatorade and brown men helping us and cheering us on. And it was really awesome. They picked us up from the airport with our bikes. Some of us brought bikes, and the mechanic was there. He went in, took your bike out of the bike bag, your bike box, put it all together. You did your test run. So we really did not have to do much other than train in the morning and then enjoy ourselves in the afternoon, which made it a lot easier. A lot of nice surprises. We did yoga. We had some poolside chats, kind of like what we're doing here. Just, sharing, talking story, if you will. So it was a tremendous experience. And when I think back to it, the relationships that were built there will carry on. I think throughout, the rest of our lives, just the sharing that we did, because it was not easy. It's hot, it's humid. You would rather be anywhere else than training. But here we are doing our thing, and we really had a great time. It was a phenomenal training camp, unlike any others that I've ever been to.
So will you have another one next year? Because we just got a comment from Fitness Queen who says, wow, it sounds so wonderful. I must go to the next one.
You must go. You must. Yes. And so we are looking at, I want to go to Dominican Republic. There's another, Rev3 has done races out there. They have the course that's set up that we can do, a very nice place to stay. And then Costa Rica is another option. But what I would like to do is try another location, see how that feels. And maybe we alternate and just keep this camp going. We've also discussed having 2 camps. And, unfortunately for me, I will have to be there at both camps, like 2 weeks in a row. I have to be in Paradise training because I had to test it out. I had to test out the waters. And so we're looking at that option if the numbers are larger than what we anticipate, just to make sure that there's a good balance, because you don't want it to be too large You wanted to have that intimacy so that the ladies can get their experiences that they want and have that bonding time.
So you mentioned something in the other conversation a little bit ago about those who have been in the game working with beginners. So does Fast Chix, maybe just during the training camp or in general, have sort of a mentorship program?
Yeah, well, it's informal. But we do have coaches on deck. We have ladies that are nutritionists. They are physical therapists. They are strength coaches. And whenever COVID was, really at the top of its game, I hate to say that, but we put on different forums. Winterized forum is one of them that we had, and there was a particular forum where we had a coach, sports nutritionist, a physical therapist, and a primary care physician on deck to answer questions, and we gave them opportunities and platforms. And it was a Zoom call. Ladies called in, we had the questions, we had our adult beverages or not, depending on your training. Some people are on their bike, looking at the folks that had beverages, and it's like, well, we already did our training, so on to you next. It's one of those things. But it was a really good discussion, and it kept the motivation going for the new athletes, even for those that have been in the game for a while. And so we've tried to keep up those types of forums, those types of open discussions with the ladies. You're always going to have that question that's posted, what do I do with this, or what do I do with that? And the experts will immediately chime in to kind of bring everything back in the box. It's like, okay, calm down. You're an individual, because it's almost like Googling WebMD.
Yeah.
You could get all kinds of answers, but really it boils down to you, what works for you. And so you've got to wiggle your way around it. I can tell you my experiences, but I am not you. We don't have the same background. So we just try to, that's what the coaches do, is just kind of remind people that everyone comes from a different background, and everyone is not always, what do we say, what they post to be. The smiles after the training,
right.
We're not always smiling because it really hurts. And this is not a game. This triathlon is not a game. So
for those of you who are joining us, my name is Jason Bahamundi. I am one of the owners of Run Try Bike Magazine. Thank you for joining us on our Fireside Chat on Tuesdays. We have them every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're talking to Yvonne Spencer of Fast Chix. We also have Om Gandhi on the call, who is our moderator. And so if you have a question, just tap the little question mark on the bottom right-hand side and we'll get to it. Om, it looks like we have a question from the audience.
Yeah, it's actually more of a comment. It's from Victorious_1. That camp was an epic experience. She made sure to capitalize epic. All caps.
Well, and there were a couple of women that had never swam in open water.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so this is a real body of water. There's fish in there, and there's turtles, and there's you name it. And because we were all out there together, there was some hesitancy, there was some anxiety, but we were able to work with each other. Mm-hmm. And, we swam out to this island that looked like it was really, really far away. It seemed like it kept moving the further we swam out there, which is what islands do. But we swam out there, we got our way back. There were some, ladies that were hesitant. And so there were a couple of the more experienced swimmers just said, hey, come with me. You only swam a little bit, come with me. We're going to do a little bit more because I think you can. And you're not going to have a better opportunity to swim in an ocean like this with the kayak support and everything else that's there. So come on with me and let's do this. And so seeing that type of thing out there is just, it definitely fills your heart and fills your spirit. And it is really, in a nutshell, what Fast Chix is about.
I love it. I mean, I've been in this sport for 15 years, and it's so important to give back, whether it's volunteering or taking a beginner under your wing and just giving them some tips and educating them about where they can go and how they can do things. And so it's fantastic that, Fast Chix, while informal, has an opportunity for mentorship as well. One of the things you mentioned was wrangling 18 African-American women to participate in this training camp, which brings up the conversation about inclusion. And so I'd like to get your thoughts about how the tri community has embraced inclusion, if they have, if you think so. What can we do better? What can we here at Run Tri Bike do better from a diversity and inclusion standpoint as well?
So I will answer the first question about what has the community done. And I think that it boils down to the local race directors have really, I think that they have reached out and they've tried to be more welcome and opening to all. And you do that by just creating an atmosphere that is a lot friendlier than maybe some of the other races that you've been to. Or you target different organizations and groups and say, hey, I would like to see more diversity, and you have this group. Can I give y'all some discounts? How can I get you over to where we are? How can I just make sure that we're mixing your community? And that's part of it. So I think the local race directors are doing their part, even though life has not been easy for them over the past 3 or 4 years. So they had their challenges of their own. But it's also those communities that are underrepresented are also stepping out into the limelight. They are showing up unafraid, if you will. They are creating communities. They're building bonds. And because I'll talk to some people and they'll say, oh, well, I was afraid to go swim in that lane because, I thought that no one wanted to talk to me and they didn't, no one really looked over at me. I was like, well, no, because you're new. It may not have anything to do with your color. Like, you're new. Like, not everyone is welcoming to new people. So you do like I do, because I've been in all the different places where I am the only one, and that's fine, because that's what I've chosen. And so I just jump in and I'm here. I want the help. We're all doing the same thing and I'm not going away. So let's just be friends, because it's easier on you if we're friends. And I'm like kind of cool. So there you have it. So, a lot of times we just have to forget ourselves a little bit and say, hey, do you want to do this sport or not? Right. And if you want to do it, then do it. Yep. And, be that one. It's okay. Because then someone will see you, they're going to talk to you, and there you go. Now there's 2 or 3 there. The numbers just start adding up. And you start creating that community. You're friendly towards others. They're friendly towards you. And you keep it moving.
Kim Nicole.
Keep it moving. So
Kim Nicole just typed, you're afraid to take up space. And she's correct. Yeah.
Just get out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is something you want to do, get out there. You do everything else you want to do. So be a part of that and be unafraid in it. And so the numbers, I mean, I've been in this game. You've already said how long I've been in the Air Force. So, I can't lie about my age, but I've been in this game for a minute. And I've seen the changes. I've seen my first Ironman, there were maybe 3 African Americans, and there might have been more because I was like in the middle of the pack. So who knows? But I know there weren't a lot. And fast forward to, I think maybe it was my 4th Ironman Louisville, we had 40, Black triathletes that were out there because we decided that we are going to do this thing together and we are going to be on the course together, cheering each other on, goading each other to chase me down. and that's what it's going to be. And so we just fast forward and so many things have changed and there's just so many more opportunities that are out there. So many more places to get your swim lessons. Then the cycling community has blasted out, in this past couple of years. And then running has always been the mainstay. So.
Yeah, and one of the things you mentioned about having so few people at your first Ironman that look like you, and that's one of the reasons why we started this platform. I'm Puerto Rican, And the only time I've ever seen anybody that looks like my family or myself at a race start line way back was when I raced 70.3 Puerto Rico in San Juan, right? I had to go to Puerto Rico to see people.
Imagine that.
And so that was part of the impetus for us launching this platform. It was like, hey, we want to make sure that minorities and women and physically challenged disabled athletes and LGBTQ plus have an opportunity to tell their story and see there are people just like them doing this stuff, and get them more involved and engaged. And obviously, if you look at this screen right now, right, we've got an African woman and a Southeast Asian man and a Puerto Rican talking about endurance sports. Like,
that sounds like the beginning of a good joke.
yeah.
Work on that for us, Ohm. Work on that one for us.
Will do.
Workshop that, would you, buddy? So it looks like there's another question, Ohm, or another comment.
Yeah, it's another comment, but before I get to that one, DJ Mac 333 said something I really liked. One thing that Fawn is amazing at is she's all about go big or go home.
Thank you, Donna.
And this is DJ Mac 333. She also said a lot of us are suffering from FOMO.
Don't skip the swim then. You don't want to miss out on.
Don't skip the. Oh my goodness, I can tell stories about skipping the swim and the results of races.
And speaking of stories, the question is actually more about hearing a story. It's from D1 Tiger Lily. Ask Vaughn about biking the mountains of Costa Rica.
Well, there you go. Tell us.
Oh, she's funny. So we had a bike course that was set in Costa Rica. It was the ride to Nicoya, and it was supposed to be about 40 something miles with over 5,000 feet of climb, which is like a really, really lot in a hot, humid environment. And we ended up just riding to Nicoya, which was enough for us, and we ended the day there. But it was a very, very challenging day. There were 5 of us that ventured out there to ride that course, and it was extremely challenging. And we had to push each other. We had to. There was, one of the ladies was kind of struggling a little bit, and so there was one woman in front, I was behind her, and she was saying, well, I can't do it, I gotta get out. I said, nope, you're in an entanglement now, you cannot get out. The only way you can get out is you can get to the top of the hill. So Polly, let's do this. And so it was very, very challenging, but we felt great whenever we finished it, because it was that sense of accomplishment where you look at the elevation. You all are with me, right? You look at the elevation of a race or a map and you're thinking, no, it's not, no, cannot. But when you have people that someone asks if you're going to do something and they raise your hand and you're looking around like, I guess I gotta raise my hand too. You're supposed to be the leader, so there you go. But it was really challenging. It was great. It was a sense of accomplishment. We'll be ready. We'll definitely be ready the next time. I think that there were a couple of the ladies that did have a little FOMO that decided not to go, but afterwards, it was like, oh man, I probably could have. And I found that to be a lesson in just showing up.
Yeah.
Whether it's for a ride and you keep getting dropped. I do all the time. And you're chasing down and you're wearing out your legs because you keep getting dropped. Yep, I do all the time. Or it's that swim early in the morning, or it's that group that some people, before you go out on a ride or a run, and you'll say, oh, well, who all's going to be there? Don't worry about who's going to be there. Just show up and do what you can do. I hold on for as long as I can. And then when I can't, I pop in Ride GPS and I make my way back home.
Yeah. TrackBack is one of the greatest things that the Garmin ever created.
Exactly. And I promise you, if I keep showing up and I keep trying my best, I will stay with the group a little bit longer each time.
That's right. So that's and Travel Diva, who I believe is Lisa from the Mid-Maryland Tri Club, has got shouting you out in the comments with a couple of ask her about the phrase, why are you crying? and another one French. So you got to have to unveil those two mantras.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So picture it. We do a training camp with Mid-Maryland Triathlon Club in Cambridge for Ironman Maryland. And so we've done our long ride, and the next day we're doing our long run. And I'm running a little bit longer than Lisa. You know, Lisa, that's my sis. But she texts me and she says, I'm in trouble. I'm having problems breathing, because she had forgotten her inhaler. And the only thing in my mind was get to Lisa. So I'm running, and I'm probably doing my Boston Marathon pace is what she calls it. So I'm running to get to Lisa. Now I have run out of water. She has run out of water, but I'm getting to Lisa. And I finally make it to her, and I was like, Lisa, are you okay? And she's on her knees, and she looks up at me, and she says, where's the freaking car? So in her mind, when she told me she was in trouble, I was going to run back to the house, get the car to come get her. And so she's trying to breathe, and there's these tears, and I'm rubbing her back like, why are you crying? So like, I can't believe you did. So we're flagging down people because there's no signal in Cambridge, Maryland. And fortunately, there was this woman that was driving. She was taking pictures of this other ride that was happening. And she's like, can I help you? I was like, yes, can you take us back to our house? So thankfully, she took us back to the house. But that's the story of the why you're crying, because Lisa couldn't understand why I couldn't understand why she was crying, because she is out of air, out of water. It's 9,000 degrees in Cambridge, Maryland. And the only thing I can think to do is to get to her. That's all I was doing. So there's that story.
It's not
and the
degrees there. It's also 9,000% humidity in Cambridge, Maryland.
I don't know. And you know, when you get to the end of your run and you're just like frustrated and you're tired, and she just knew I was going to come with a vehicle with air conditioning and water. And nope, it was just me running really, really fast to get to my friend because she needed me.
So she also mentioned about something about a wrench. So what's this?
Well, it's my motivation for my athletes whenever they think they can't do something, you know, like doing 30-second interval sprints at the end of a 50-mile bike ride.
Right.
And I just tell them, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. And that's, in other words, just get at it.
You can do it.
I don't want to hear it. Just get it done. And why are you crying? Just get it done.
I love it. One of the things that we're trying to do with these fireside chats is to be more creative, right? And get more voices heard and seen. But when we were in our green room earlier, about, creative things being done by the endurance sports world to bring people into the field. What did you mean by that? What are you seeing out there that are getting people involved in sports that you would put under the creative tab?
I am seeing them doing more activities virtually. Most recently, we did a virtual transition clinic. Now, we ended up going outside to do it, but you do things virtually. You kind of set that tone, set that visual, and then you answer the questions. You give out some lessons learned or best practices, and then you put that to work. There are forums that a lot of the clubs are doing. We've done those forums. We've had those open discussions. We talk about nutrition. We'll bring in our sponsors to talk about nutrition, because that's that fourth leg, right? And only you can get it right for you. People will tell you, well, I have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Oh, well, I have Crustables. Oh, well, I have a payday bar. Oh, well, I have nothing. Oh, well, I have greens made of special sprouts. So it's all over the place. And you want to have that discussion, because when you're new to the sport, it's so much information. It seems so overwhelming. We put on a beginners clinic virtually. I had a couple of coaches that were there, and I think we had about 10 athletes. And of that, half of them have gone on to do their triathlon. But we had that clinic for beginners so that they could ask those questions and not feel self-conscious about it, or not feel that someone's going to give them a condescending answer, or not feel that it's a stupid question. Because, you know, you see the questions out there, you're like, oh my God, it's like race day, and they're asking about how they need fuel. I can't do this right now. So you give the opportunities for the different, I guess, the different levels to have their discussions. And really, I want to make people more comfortable with it. It is a lot. You don't need power meter in your first year of triathlon. You gotta finish one first. you gotta get a bike. you gotta do that swim thing. So there's just the basics. And do I need this? No. You really only need like 6 things when it gets down to it, you know, and just keeping it basic, and also helping the beginners not to drink a lot of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And to not go from couch to a 140.6.
Yep.
Some could do it.
No.
Not everyone be successful at it. Not many, depending on your background. If you're 25 and you recover the next day, you can do it. If you're not 25 and you're closer to 50 and yeah, you may not want to do that. You may want to ease into it. So yeah, those are the types of creative things. And it's more about, I think you can reach more people now virtually, because some are still hesitant to coming together. So you're reaching more virtually. And then another thing is just, that we'll select races, or we'll select events, and let's just show up to this.
Well, that's funny, because I have here is, where is the club going to be racing this year?
Yes, so we will definitely be at Rev 3. That is where the party got started. So Rev 3 Williamsburg, we will be there on July 9th and the 10th. There will also be some that will be up in New Jersey cheering on some newbie athletes in the women's Philly tribe. So we're kind of splitting operations there. We will also be riding the Amish Century in September, and there will be probably couple handfuls of us at the One Love Century Ride that is in Atlanta, and so that's what it's set right now.
So I'm going to take a moment to plug one of our races that we're working with, which is called the Monarch Triathlon, and that's going to take in Kingman, Arizona in October. So if you have members that are racing Ironman Arizona or Ironman Florida and need a tune-up, it's a perfect venue for it. It's a total of 56 miles, so it's more like a super half than it is a half. So if you've got club members that are on the West Coast that can get there easily, let me know, and I'll talk to the race director getting a discount code for you guys.
That sounds great. And even if we can't get there easily, that's what planes are for.
Well, look, you guys love to travel. The airport in Vegas is a stone's throw away from the race start, so it could be a great.
Do not tempt us. Do not tempt us. I do know that 2023 calendar will be a little bit more full, because now all the races are coming back. We like to go to the races that are, you know, popular because most of our ladies are along the East Coast. We have some out there in Austin. Camille Baptiste, shout out, woo woo! She's putting on races out there. So we will, you know, try to join her as well. But those that are along the coast, we're definitely looking forward to supporting them. We will have some ladies that are doing Ironman races. And I am like I said, I'm a fan of our local race directors, because I think that those are the feeder races, because that's where folks are getting their start with their beginner tries, like the Columbia Association Triathlon, which we will be out there supporting that this year with Rip It Sports. And so supporting these local race directors, I think that's really where we're going to make our money in this sport and in this community, because that's where we can bring that village together without 5,000 people around you shattering your spirits and making you anxious. And we love discounts and, DJs playing our songs and those types of things. Our own porta potties, of just putting things out there.
But you brought up the point about working with the local races. Ohm and I were on a call earlier today with Treat Public Relations about working with the smaller local events, because those are the home for our sports and growing it, right? And you mentioned people typically don't go from the couch to 140.6. They're going to do the sprint, then the Olympic, and work their way up. And so we're with you in that entirely. Like, let's work with the local race events and get those race directors, registrations, and honestly, volunteers. You mentioned Camille Baptiste. We talked to her. She's always telling us about the need for volunteers and how hard it is sometimes to get them, to get volunteers for these events. So folks, if you're watching this, go volunteer at a local event, because you'll see things from a different perspective than you ever did beforehand as a participant. And two, it's a great way to give back to the community.
It really is. And if you're new to the sport, I recommend to my new athletes, I was like, let's go volunteer, see what it's about, watch the transitions and see how people react to different things and be on that other side to get a flavor for it.
So we're about 45 minutes into this, and I don't want to keep you too long.
Oh goodness. See, I told you I like to chat.
So look, we can schedule another one, because I've been having a blast. I've been laughing this whole entire time. But I want to get into our rapid fire, which is where I really like to laugh, because some of these answers are so while you're running, music, podcast, or nature?
Music, half the time. If it's a longer run, the music will get on my nerves and I'll just turn it off.
Favorite type of music?
Say again?
Favorite type of music?
I like the 90s. 90s and the 2000s, I guess. So 99 and 2000. Yes, so that type of music, yes.
Favorite artist from that era?
Oh, gosh. Ugh. Who do I call on when I need to be pumped up? I like Missy Elliott.
There we go. Yeah.
I like Missy Elliott. Yes, I can play her on repeat and just keep it moving.
I would sing for you, but we'd probably lose all of our audience. So we'll go to the next. Favorite book?
Favorite book?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Pillars of the Earth.
Why?
It was, I could not put it down, and it was set so long ago. I can't remember. It was like the 1600s or something. But everything that was happening in the book was like current. It was like sex, adultery, drugs, and, betrayal and love. And yeah, it just, I don't know. And the imagery of the book, I felt like I was there, in those olden times. So that's probably one of my favorites.
Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Yay! Love pineapple. Look, I spent time in Hawaii, so I'm allowed to have pineapple on my pizza.
New York style pizza or Chicago style pizza?
Ooh, New York.
Yeah, all right. You're back in my good graces.
Okay, my back. Okay, all right. See how I read the room, This is, write that down. Take a note.
Is candy real candy?
I love candy corn.
Our friendship is going rapidly.
I like candy corn. I'm probably the only one. It probably tastes like a little bit like wax, but I like it. I like candy corn. And they have the chocolate one too, like the chocolate layer in there.
Nobody likes wax. So then, are Peeps a real candy?
No, I don't know what that is. No, that's no. That's nasty.
You get it wrong and then you come back around. So we stay friends. I like it.
I'm all about balance. All about balance.
And then your bucket list event. What's an event that you have not done that you want to do? I want to do, and I can't remember the name of it, but I want to do that marathon. I think that's in, help me out. It's in South Africa where you have to meet a certain like cutoff or you can't finish it. Yeah, it's called the Comrades. Yeah. Yep. I would like, yes. Yeah.
that's on the list. Once I get my life back together, my run game together. I fell a couple of weeks ago, and I have a nice little bruise on my shoulder.
Oh no.
There you go. Yeah. And everyone's like, did that happen on the bike? No, it happened on the run, and I did a tuck, and maybe the roll didn't happen like it was supposed to. It was like a tuck, and that was it. So I gotta get back on my game.
Wait, so your girl Lisa has typed in here and it says, I thought I was the only one that likes candy corn. So are you guys holding that secret from each other because you're embarrassed to like candy corn?
I didn't know. I mean, that's one more thing that she and I have in common. So it makes sense. It makes sense.
With you, Lisa. I don't know where that marathon in France is either, but we'll find that finish line together at some point. And Yvonne, thank you so much for joining us on our Fireside Chat. Everybody who's watched and joined us, thank you so much. If you missed the beginning part of it, it'll be uploaded to our YouTube channel here as soon as we get off this call. Or excuse me, to our IG channel as soon as we get off this call. But it will be on our YouTube channel in the future as well, probably in about a week after we edit it down and add some pieces and parts to it. Yvonne, where can people find you? Website, Instagram, Facebook, where can they find the club?
We are on the gram. So Instagram, Fast Chix. My personal one is with lip gloss. And then also on Facebook, Fast Chix as well. And then our website is www.fastchix.org.
Awesome.
So you can find us there.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Yvonne, we'll set up a date for a follow-up when you got your next training camp going and we can get people out there for you.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. You all have a great evening. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.